Welcome to the Dan Stevens Show. Feeling very body positive today with this heat. We're in the height of summer and I'm wearing a short sleeve little number from Tesco. Light enough shirt. I have the buttons open for it's just in this studio. I have to have the windows closed to keep the sound in, and even with the windows open it gets more hot, and I don't have air conditioning or anything like that. I'm a sweaty mess here. My arms are sweating. My face is sweating. God knows how my hair looks, but that's what's going on for anyone that's just listening. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. For this solo episode, recorded on a Thursday, out on a Friday. On today's episode, I want to tell you a little story about something I witnessed in a cafe on Tuesday, 2 days ago. Let's get straight into it, huh? I just find myself in these situations sometimes, and I'm very grateful for it. I went up to a cafe on Tuesday morning at about 8:30 a.m. because there's a lot of heavy demolition work going on at the moment beside where I live. My dad and my sister are building a house, knocking down an old house and building a new house. And there's a lot of pounding going on and like the bed to be shaking, you know. So I got up early, got my A4 pad. I said, I'm going to that cafe that I went to with my mother about a month ago. Nice cup of coffee. A very, very nice woman working in there. Very nice. I remember thinking to myself at the time, maybe a bit too nice. So I went up to this cafe. It had a great pan au chocolat. That was the main reason. Absolutely brilliant, original style pan au chocolat that I just couldn't resist. And I am on a weight loss journey, and it is going in the right direction. But I could not resist this pan. So, maybe I needed a bit of comfort as well from a bad night's sleep and the heat. You know, it's very hard to sleep in this heat, although I'm doing alright. It is going to be one of those episodes. I'm in extreme heat here. You all are as well. It's probably tough to listen to a podcast in the heat at the moment, or whatever way the weather is. But let's go. Anyway, let's talk about this. So I get to the cafe, and this woman is very outgoing, very nice. Probably about in her 40s. And I remember the word overzealous came to mind. And that word means just a bit too nice, maybe for your own good. I remember, and I don't mean to psychoanalyze people, but I remember immediately thinking, I'll say this woman now looks after everybody else before looking at herself. I'd say this woman now looks after everybody else before she looks after herself. I was like that for quite a while myself, until I got a bit more selfish and I took my power back. But this woman, very, very good at her job and very nice. Gave me a huge mug of coffee and a delicious pan au chocolat. I sat down. There was another family there, an elderly man and woman, and their son, who was probably about 30, I'd say, but had some kind of learning disability, I'd say, or difficulties. I don't know which is the right description there. And I say that for a reason. So I'm sitting there trying to think about jokes, listening to my voice notes as I do to write jokes. And she goes over to pick up the cups and stuff from the other family that are there. By the way they looked, I thought they were an American tourist family, and I was like, that's extremely odd in this part of Blanchardstown. And he kept looking. He had this weird way of staring at everyone, and he was kind of annoying me. I was like, why is he staring at everything like that? Big jam jars on him. That's why I thought he was a nosy tourist. So she goes over to pick up the plates and stuff, and she starts. It turns out they're Irish. They're Dublin, and the older guy's like, "Oh, thanks very much. That was lovely." And she's at the table, and she starts going, "Oh, no problem. Delighted to have you. Come back anytime." Meanwhile, the kid with the special needs, or I see. I don't know what was what his um, difficulties was, but where? Sorry, it's the heat. Jesus. But he was severely challenged. Anyway, she starts saying to him, she goes, "Did you enjoy that now? Did you enjoy that in your tummy, wummy? Was that nice in your belly, welly?" And I was like, what is going on here? This is the woman working there. Now, they could be related, for all I know. They could be her family. I just don't know. I'm just trying to write a few jokes and have a cup of coffee. But it's just me and this going on in the cafe now at this point. So I'm like, Jesus, this is mad. Anyway, they leave. And just as they leave, a woman walks in, about 5'5", I'd say, with like a 3-year-old child. And the first thing I thought was, Jesus, she's a good looking woman. They all, not the, don't even go there. The English woman. Wait, she was English because... The heat, it's the heat. Alright. She goes to the counter. I gave it away now. Anyway, she goes to the counter. And the woman's like, yeah, can I help you there? You know, really nice Irish woman. The English woman is like, have you got a menu? And the woman's like, no, we just have whatever's up on the wall there, on the board, on the wall. Alright. Have you got any smoothies? She goes, oh. Now, the first question, she seemed a bit uncertain. I don't think she'd been asked that before, this woman working in here. And she was a bit kind of off guard. And then she hit her with the smoothie question, and she's, well, we have, you have them ones in the fridge there, and then we have a strawberry and banana, and the girl then cuts her off and goes, do you know, is there any nuts in that? And then the woman has, this is the third, poof, you know, I'm like, oh no, she's out on her feet here. She's like, no, I don't own here, like, but the owner will be here at 10 o'clock, the manager. She can tell you, she goes, as far as I know, I don't make them, so I don't know if there is or not. Well, you should know. You should know. This should be allergy information. And then it starts getting heated. I was like, Jesus, here we go. And it starts getting heated, and she goes, well, I don't know. And she goes, you're being quite rude. She goes, I'm not being rude. I don't mean to be rude, she said. I just don't know. I don't know if there's any nuts in it, or any traces of nuts. Well, you should know. I mean, you're a cafe. You're working in a cafe. And she's like, yeah, I know, but you're quite rude, actually. And she's like, you're being rude. You can leave. But she's so nice that I was so uncomfortable watching this woman have to deal with this conflict. I was like, oh, but the English one was like, you know, ready to go. She went in there, it seemed to me, looking for a row. And then it gets into a back and forth, and she's telling her to leave, and she's like, oh, I'll be back here at 10 o'clock. The cameras will see what happened here. And I'll be reporting you, and I'll be talking to your manager. And then she's like, I don't even know if it's my manager coming in. And she's like, yeah, right. And then next thing you know, the English one leaves. It's about 9:15 at this stage. And it's just me and the woman then left. And your woman is crying behind the counter and shaking and crying. And I was like, Jesus, what am I supposed to do here? I kind of felt at points of the thing I wanted to intervene and get them to calm down, because it was getting very heated. And then there's just silence, and I just said, I was like, I said, sure, she'll be having a row with the next place she goes into now. I said, them type of people are just projecting their own misery onto other people, and that's what she's after doing to you there. I started actually giving her a bit of therapy, I think. I don't know, but that's how I felt. I was like, see the way you're all upset now. That's because she upset you. You were grand before she came in. And then another customer came in then. Sorry, before the other customer came in, my coffee was nearly gone, and it was like a bucket. It was about 2 litres, and I was like, oh, just to be nice. Then I was like, yeah, I can have another coffee there. That's lovely. That coffee, I said, and it was all right. It wasn't great, but I said. She goes, oh yeah. I was trying to give her a lift, but her just this cup was shaking and all them when she was doing it. Anyway, next thing you know, another customer came in, a regular nice customer come in, and she's like, oh, could I get this something smoothie? She ordered a smoothie that she obviously usually orders. And the woman that works there is like, we've no ice. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Please don't react. Please don't get angry. And she's like, oh, no bother, sure. She goes, we've got ice coming in later. And the customer was like, I'll be back later, no problem. And then about 3 or 4 other really nice customers came in. I was about 3 litres of coffee in at this stage. I was waiting for 10 o'clock, you see, because this woman was coming back at 10. I wanted to see. And anyway, I hear her relaying the woman working in the shop, I hear her relaying her version of events to each person coming in. And very much getting the sympathy of the customers. And but in my head I'm thinking, okay, the way that woman went about it was wrong, but surely a lesson has to be learned here, that you need to have an allergy thing on the board, it's kind of. And while they were arguing, I actually looked up, is it a legal obligation to have an allergy list in your cafe? And it is in Ireland. And it's a legal requirement to have the staff trained to know as well. So Jesus, I was there like an hour at this stage. Coffee'd out of my head. I was buzzing. Jesus, and watching what was going on. It's so weird. Like, it was as if I wasn't there then. She was just talking to people, and like, if that was me working there, I'd be really aware of the big fella with the mullet sitting over, listening to everything. I don't know. Some people are just in their own world. But I'm not. I'm a bit nosy. Maybe I'm a bit of a gossiper or something. Or I think we all are. But anyway, I went up here to write a few jokes. I wasn't going up here to watch or be involved in anything. Anyway, one fella comes in then, and he goes, how are you? Whatever her name was. And she goes, I'm alright-ish. Oh, he says, Jesus, is that why you had the big puss on you? And she's like, no. He was trying to be playful, you see. He was a confident kind of fella, this lad. And she relayed the story to him. Jesus. And he goes, he seen me, this fella. He was the first one to bring me in. He goes, did you witness this, did you? I said, I did, yeah. I witnessed it all, I said. She was an awful woman, the other one. I did want to say, would you not put an allergy board up there? And also, when I was ordering my second coffee, I was going to go, is there any nuts in that? But it was too soon. Anyway, this Jack the lad is he's a regular customer, and he's putting the moves on her. He was only at the end I kind of copped it. He was being very, very smooth and supportive, and sure, these things happen. There's always people like that everywhere. He used all the cliches about bad people that people use. Sure, you get them everywhere you go. He's the type of fella who, if he was talking to the English one, he'd be saying she was right. Whatever he has to do to nip in, he'll do it. Sniffing around he was. Like a little Jack Russell in there, sniffing around. So he gets his coffees anyway, and he says, yeah, if you have any more trouble, you can have me number. And the one goes, stop, will you? Which is yet another sort of Irish or Dublin cliche of when you don't have a response, but it's kind of, that was a weird thing that happened. Stop, will you? But I think she did mean like, no, stop. Yeah, it really got me thinking about who was right and who was wrong in that situation. And when you bring nuance into the scenario, I don't know this English woman's situation. Maybe she was starving. Maybe she had a hard workout. Maybe she was after being in the gym. She needed sustenance. Who knows? But she came in with a very aggressive attitude, and then this woman was the exact opposite. Overly friendly, overzealous. Just, like I say, gives everything to everyone else, I'd say. And doesn't take care of number one. And she was shook. And believe it or not, the woman waited outside. It turned out when I was leaving, the woman was waiting outside. I waited till 10:05. And the English woman was talking to another member of staff who'd started at about 10:15, a younger girl. And I don't know what happened from there. But of course I said when I was leaving, I said, I'll be back again. I'll be back again. There's lovely coffee. Lovely coffee. I probably will go back again. I don't know. But that was that. It does beg the question of who do you think was right in that situation? There's a way of going about things, I think. And she wasn't prepared with the information about what food was available there. She wasn't prepared with the smoothie question. She was not ready for any direct questions. And then with the allergy stuff, that was the end of it then. And she started getting defensive then because she was being questioned. Her knowledge was being questioned. And yeah, that was that. That was the incident in the cafe. It got very heated. Bit heated here myself. So, one more thing I want to talk about and tell you about is, and this is a nice little surprise for you. Later that day, I went from that cafe. I said, I'm going to the park. Again, crazy construction work going on. Really loud. My whole road is blocked up. I know where the park. I said, I'm going to the Phoenix Park. Pull up to a car park. Step out. Johnny on the ground. Anyway, that's not the story. The story was then I said, you know what? You know where I haven't been in ages? The zoo. I said, I'll go to the zoo. And you know what? It struck me that would be a funny thing to do as well. I know when I'm doing something that's going to be funny. I wanted to do it. But I was like, this is not normal for a 37-year-old man to go to the zoo on a Tuesday afternoon. It's not normal. People don't do it. There's 100 other things that people would be doing at that time of the week. But I said, I'm going to do it. Now, €26.50 in. I tell you, I like animals, but nearly not that much. I'd say if it was another euro there, I wouldn't have went. But I went in anyway, and it's changed, the zoo. There's no more chipping. You know that chipping on the ground, the wood chips. I used to love them. They're not anywhere anymore. Plus, I probably loved them because I was a kid, but in Dublin Zoo, there was this wood chippings, and there was a lovely smell off it. I always remember walking into Dublin Zoo and smelling the wood chippings. I mean, like, oh yeah. Now, all I ever wanted to see was the reptiles. The poisonous ones. Take me to the dangerous ones. I'd look at the lions as well, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, this time I said I'm going to go for a walk around the zoo. Check it all out. Get me value for money. Yeah, quite sad really, the zoo. And I knew somebody would make a comment to me. Irish people are very insensitive, and it's lucky you'd want to be tough, you'd want to have a thick skin walking around the zoo in Ireland. I mean, I went to the gorilla enclosure. I was looking in there. Very, very sad gorilla. I was thinking, Jesus, looks a bit like me cousin, one of my cousins. I was kind of looking into his eyes, and he looked very, very forlorn, this gorilla. And I'm walking out of the place then, and a woman comes the other direction around the corner. She's probably about 60. Little girl with her about 9 or 10. She goes, oh, there's a big gorilla. I was like, ah, stop. What do you say to that when someone calls you a gorilla? Like, I said, yeah, I'm after escaping. I like bananas. She didn't hear me saying that. I just said it after. Couldn't think of a good one. I started imagining then in my head a scenario of what I could have said when she called me a gorilla. I should have said to her child, stop them and go, oh yeah, I am a big gorilla, yeah. Ha ha ha. Then go to the child, do you know what gorillas eat? Little children. That would have served her right. Anyway, it was a nice interaction, and I actually walked away from it. And you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, oh, can't wait to tell me all listeners about this. And viewers, whenever you're. Anyway, give us a follow actually on Spotify if you haven't yet. I know I keep saying it, it's very repetitive, and then I keep saying that it's repetitive, so that's repetitive in itself. But whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, follow, rate 5 stars, like, subscribe, share. Donate in the episode description there if you want as well, if you fancy buying the guests a coffee. It's very hard in this weather to do a podcast. It's just as well I enjoy it so much. But I'm a sweaty Betty. Another few things about the zoo. Sorry, I'm not going to finish up quite yet. So, like I said earlier, I absolutely loved the reptile house. Now, I don't know what's happened. Maybe they're not allowed have them in a certain environment anymore, but it's very bright now, and you look in and they're grand. There's a crocodile in there, which I love. Crocodiles, alligators. Big snake. King rat snake. There was a cobra as well. Cobra, whatever you call it. A few dangerous ones, but it doesn't. I don't think they amaze me as much anymore, because I saw so many alligators, and I mean, when I was in Florida camping, I woke up one morning and there was a water moccasin coiled up outside my tent, literally 2 steps away from me, and I faced off with it. I wasn't afraid of no water moccasin. I gave him one of them. I kind of fainted at him. I dummied to go for him. Slid off then. No backbone. That is a joke, but it's not as well. That did happen. I actually swung a kick at it. Yeah, they're more afraid of us than we are of them most of the time. There's not many animals out there that go out to kill people. You know, like I think there's a few bears that do. Like a polar bear will eat someone for dinner, just out of sport, you know. Anyway, look. Any other ones? They've recreated the African plains there, which is, I mean, all I could think was, would they not expand it a bit out into the park? The Phoenix Park is massive. Surely Dublin Zoo could be bigger. They could expand out and have larger areas for the animals. And it'd give people more jobs as well. Fuck that president's house. Expand the zoo up as far as that. Let the reptiles live in the Áras an Uachtaráin. Cobra Connolly. No, anyway, stupid. Sorry, it's the heat. I'm saying stupid stuff because it's so hot. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how far away the Áras an Uachtaráin is from the zoo. I don't know if that's a realistic proposition, but surely a bit more. I mean, that gorilla that I saw, he was just picking away at the whatever that stuff was on the ground, just looking at me, you know, just fed up. Maybe the sun got to him. Also, just to finish on, I want to thank a guy who commented on TikTok on one of my videos. And now I may have taken this the wrong way, but I put a video out on TikTok and Instagram just saying which is better, the mullet or the ponytail. And just doing it in sort of an erotic, funny way, and seeing what people thought. It turned out to be about 65% of people went for the mullet, 35% the ponytail. Someone said ponytail equals check hard drive. So yeah, one of them, I think it was Richie McGrath actually that said that. So thank you, Richie. Now, just to give a bit of background on this, I put a video out a little while back when we had the last few days of sunshine in Ireland of me with a really red face, just saying it's going to break tomorrow. I was like, enjoying the weather, lovely weather or something, and it's due. My dad said it's going to break tomorrow, and I was suffering with the heat. I think it's gotten almost 1 million views now, 20 or 30,000 likes or something on Instagram, hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok. Yes, thank you. Then I put one up then just before this current heat wave started, of ready for the heat wave, and it was me again with a red face, just saying something like, sure, I lived in Australia for a year, just making a joke about it. So I had them 2 videos. Then I get a comment on my hair video from someone. Maybe they listen to this, maybe I liked them as a person. I don't know who they are because they've no profile picture, and I can't remember the name on the profile, but very little followers. Probably they have a family or something and they're too busy to be putting pictures on their profiles and stuff. But this is what he said. I'm paraphrasing a bit. I can't remember exactly what it was, but so it's the video of me. It's not even the red face videos. It's me with the hair thing, separate thing altogether. And he goes, "This looks like a fella who's getting likes from the sun. Hope you're keeping well, pal. Used to see it all the time in Lambourne or somewhere. I think around Blanchardstown somewhere." And I got immediately irked by this comment because it's a real kind of, I know what you're up to thing. Quite an Irish, maybe English thing as well. Yeah, you're getting views from this. I know what you're doing on your you're getting views from the sun. That's what you're doing, and I know that, and I'm telling you, I know what you're up to. Anyway, hope you're keeping well, bud. And I said, look, I responded. I took the bait, and I took it badly. I think I was in a bad mood or something at the time, or maybe I was just very aware. But I said, here, thanks for your typical Irish backhanded compliment there. I get likes in a lot of different ways. And by the way, I didn't hang around in Lambourne, and that was it. Nothing back from him since. If you're listening here, maybe you meant well. If so, I'm sorry, I read it wrong. But it's this, I know what you're doing, and you're not there now. Basically making me feel like a hack or something somehow. I don't know how they do it. It's this sort of, it's like in school or something. It's a real Dublin sort of, yeah, bleeding your man who gets the likes off the sun. Who does he think he is? And at this time, this particular story has a happy ending, guys. So this podcast is about to have a happy ending. For me, anyway. Not for anyone that's bitter, but I don't think any of my beautiful listeners and viewers are bitter. So at this time when I got this comment, I had recorded another video of me absolutely baking in the sun, like my face is extra red. The third sunburn video. And I was getting ready to post it and I see this comment. Then I'm like, oh man, I've done 2 already. I started doubting myself because of what this guy had said. And I was like, oh no, I've done 2 already. Maybe I shouldn't do another one. It's a bit kind of, yeah, people probably won't like it. They'll just think, he's flogging a dead horse here. Oh, red chaps. Who does he think he is? Oh, Cake Paul. Bake Paul. They're all calling me out in the comments. Cake Paul is at it again. And I was doubting myself over whether to post it or not. And eventually I was like, do you know what? What's the harm? I'm going to put this one out. My face is extra red. It's extra hot in Ireland today and across Europe. I'm putting it out there on TikTok and Instagram. That was 2 days ago. As we speak, on Instagram, it's just gone over the 2 million views mark. And on TikTok, it's just gone over the million views mark. And it's climbing. And I'm glad I did it and I didn't listen to the negative sort of judgy voice. And maybe, like I say, there is a chance. I'd say it's about a 20% chance. There is a chance that I just perceived that message in that way. But I don't think so. But if I had listened to that doubt and said to myself, no, you're a hack, do something else, that's over. You've squeezed every bit out of that. You've squeezed everything out of that son thing. But no. I said, I'm doing it. And it went out to a new audience, and now it's getting millions of views and thousands of likes. So I'm glad I put it out there. And you know what? I'm going to put more out there as well. If I feel the need to, if I want to, I'll do whatever I want. And everybody watching and listening to this, you should do whatever you want as well. If you have a person in your life who's a naysayer, who's a doubter, who's telling you that you're not good enough, or even if it's your own little voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, override it and just go for it. What's the harm? What's the worst that can happen? Do you think you're going to be on the front of the newspaper? Well, no one reads them anymore. Being like, Dan Stevens is a hack, and then big red face. Like, do you think, like, that's not going to happen to you? I mean, I'm putting myself in the example there, but that's not going to happen. So, do whatever you want to do without guilt. I think it's about time us Irish as people escape from the guilt mentality and the not good enough mentality and the self-doubt mentality, and we become winners and champions. Alright, I think we should. I think it's time for us to break out of the glad to participate role. The heat brought that out of me anyway. Don't know where that came from, but we're going to finish on that. I do mean it. Believe in yourself, please. One life. That's all we have. One life. Do the things you want to do with the people you want to do them with. That's been the Dan Stevens Show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll see you again on the next one. I hope my shirt hasn't been too open. Ooh. But it's baking, it's boiling, it's summertime. Enjoy it, guys. See you again soon. Thank you. Good luck.